The courtroom was silent. Every seat was filled. Journalists sat with their notebooks ready. Guards stood at every door, rifles in hand. Outside, thousands of people waited, listening through loudspeakers. This was not an ordinary trial. This was the moment that would define a nation's future. Nelson Mandela stood in the dock. He was 46 years old, but his eyes held the wisdom of centuries. He wore a simple suit, pressed but worn. His hands were clasped in front of him, calm and steady. Around him sat his co-accused, 8 men who had fought alongside him, who believed in the same dream of equality and freedom. The judge, a white man in his 60s with stern eyes and a heavy gavel, looked down from his bench. "Mr. Mandela," he said, his voice cold and formal, "you stand accused of sabotage, conspiracy to overthrow the government, and inciting violence. These are serious charges. How do you plead?" The courtroom held its breath. Every person leaned forward. This was the moment they had been waiting for. Mandela lifted his head. His voice, when it came, was clear and unwavering. "Your Honor," he said, "before I answer, I would like to make a statement." The judge frowned. "This is not the time for statements, Mr. Mandela. You will answer the charges." "With respect, Your Honor," Mandela said, "I believe the people deserve to understand why we stand here today. They deserve to know the truth about justice, real justice, not the justice of an unjust system." A murmur rippled through the courtroom. The judge banged his gavel. "Order! Order in this court!" He glared at Mandela. "You will confine yourself to answering the charges, or I will hold you in contempt." Mandela stood firm. "Your Honor, I have spent my entire life fighting for justice, and today I will not be silenced. If you hold me in contempt for speaking the truth, then so be it. But I will speak." The tension in the room was palpable. The guards shifted nervously. The journalists scribbled frantically. And Mandela began to speak. "I do not deny," Mandela said, his voice carrying to every corner of the packed courtroom, "that I planned sabotage. I did not plan it in a spirit of recklessness, nor because I have any love of violence. I planned it as a result of a calm and sober assessment of the political situation that had arisen after many years of tyranny, exploitation, and oppression of my people." The prosecutor, a thin man with sharp features, stood up. "Your Honor, the accused is admitting to terrorism." "I am admitting to fighting for freedom," Mandela corrected, his voice rising. "There is a difference between terrorism and resistance. A terrorist seeks to destroy. A freedom fighter seeks to build. We did not seek to harm innocent people. We sought to dismantle a system that harms millions." The judge leaned forward. "You sabotaged government property. You incited violence. These are facts, Mr. Mandela." "They are facts," Mandela agreed, "but they are not the whole truth. Your Honor, for decades, my people tried peaceful means. We held protests, we sent petitions, we organized strikes, and what did we receive? Bullets, arrests, torture. The government closed every door to peaceful change. What choice did we have but to resist?" One of the journalists raised his hand. "Mr. Mandela, are you saying violence is justified?" Mandela turned to face the gallery. "I am saying that when a government uses violence against its own people, when it denies them basic human rights, when it treats them as less than human, then the people have the right to defend themselves. This is not terrorism. This is justice." The courtroom erupted in whispers. The judge banged his gavel repeatedly. Silence. I will clear this courtroom if necessary. But Mandela continued, undeterred. Your Honor, I have fought against white domination, and I have fought against black domination. I have cherished the ideal of a democratic and free society in which all persons live together in harmony with equal opportunities. It is an ideal which I hope to live for and to achieve. But if needs be, it is an ideal for which I am prepared to die. The silence that followed was absolute. Even the judge seemed momentarily at a loss for words. Those final words, prepared to die, hung in the air like a declaration that could not be undone. The prosecutor stood again, adjusting his glasses. Mr. Mandela, you speak of justice, but you broke the law. You cannot pick and choose which laws to obey. Mandela turned to face him directly. When the law is unjust, when the law itself is a crime against humanity, then breaking that law becomes a moral duty. Your Honor, the laws of this country are designed to oppress. They separate families. They deny education. They steal dignity. I did not break the law in pursuit of personal gain. I broke the law in pursuit of human rights. But you used violence, the prosecutor insisted. You planted bombs. We targeted infrastructure, not people, Mandela said firmly. We sabotaged power stations, government buildings, symbols of oppression. We took every precaution to ensure no one was harmed. And I ask you, sir, what about the violence of this government? What about the children shot in the streets? What about the families torn apart? Where is the justice for them? The prosecutor had no answer. He sat down, his face red. The judge cleared his throat. Mr. Mandela, the law is the law. Your personal feelings about its fairness are irrelevant. Are they? Mandela asked. He looked around the courtroom. Your Honor, history will judge this trial, not by the laws you enforce, but by the justice you deliver. You have the power to imprison me. You have the power to silence me. But you do not have the power to change the truth. And the truth is this: no man is free when his brother is enslaved. No nation is just when it denies justice to the majority of its people. One of Mandela's co-accused, a younger man named Walter, stood up. Your Honor, may I speak? The judge waved his hand impatiently. Briefly. Walter's voice shook with emotion. I have known Nelson Mandela for many years. He is not a violent man. He is not a terrorist. He is a father. He is a teacher. He is a man who has sacrificed everything, his freedom, his family, his life, for the dream of equality. If believing in equality is a crime, then we are all guilty. But that does not make us wrong. The courtroom broke into applause. The judge banged his gavel furiously. Order! I will have order! But the dam had broken. People were standing, shouting support. Free Mandela! Justice for all! The guards moved forward, but the energy in the room was unstoppable. After hours of testimony and argument, the judge called for a recess. Mandela was led back to a holding cell. His co-accused joined him. They sat in silence for a long moment. Do you think we have a chance? Walter asked quietly. Mandela shook his head. Not in this courtroom. The verdict was decided before the trial began. But that is not why we spoke today. Then why? Another man asked. Because the world is watching, Mandela said. This trial is being reported in every newspaper, broadcast on every radio station. Today, we did not speak to the judge. We spoke to history. We spoke to the millions who will come after us. They will remember what was said here, and they will know that we stood for justice, even when the law stood against us." A guard opened the cell door. "Mandela, you have a visitor." A young lawyer entered. He looked nervous. "Mr. Mandela, I've been following the trial. What you said today was powerful, but you essentially admitted to the charges. You've made it very difficult to defend you." Mandela smiled gently. "I know, but I cannot lie. I cannot hide what I believe. If I did, I would be betraying everything I stand for. The truth is more important than my freedom." The lawyer sat down heavily. "They're going to sentence you to life in prison. You know that, don't you?" "Yes," Mandela said calmly. "I know. And you're at peace with that?" Mandela looked out the small barred window. Peace is not the absence of struggle. Peace is the presence of purpose. I have a purpose, and as long as I have that, I am free, no matter what walls surround me. The lawyer left, shaking his head in disbelief. Walter turned to Mandela. "How do you stay so calm? Aren't you afraid?" "Of course I'm afraid," Mandela admitted. "I'm afraid I'll never see my children grow up. I'm afraid I'll die in a cell. But I'm more afraid of living in a world where injustice goes unchallenged. Fear is natural. Courage is choosing to act despite the fear." The courtroom reconvened. The judge took his seat. The room was packed even tighter than before. People stood in the aisles, pressed against the walls. The tension was unbearable. "Mr. Mandela and co-accused," the judge began. "This court has deliberated on the evidence presented. The charges against you are grave. You have admitted to planning and executing acts of sabotage against the state. Under the law, these crimes carry the maximum penalty." The room was so quiet that the ticking of the clock on the wall seemed deafening. "However," the judge continued, "I have also heard your statements regarding your motivations. While the law does not excuse your actions, the court acknowledges that you acted out of political conviction, not personal malice." A flicker of hope stirred in the gallery. "Therefore," the judge said, his voice hardening, "I sentence you, Nelson Mandela, and your co-accused to life imprisonment." Gasps and cries erupted. Someone screamed, "No!" Guards moved to control the crowd. Journalists rushed for the doors to file their stories, but Mandela stood still. His face was calm. He showed no emotion, not anger, not despair, not even disappointment. He simply nodded, accepting the sentence with the same dignity he had shown throughout the trial. As the guards moved to lead him away, he turned to the gallery. He raised his fist in the air, a symbol of defiance, of solidarity, of unbroken spirit. And the crowd roared in response, chanting his name, "Mandela! Mandela! Mandela!" Outside the courthouse, thousands of people took up the chant. The sound echoed through the streets, a thunder of hope and resistance that no prison walls could contain. Years passed. Mandela sat in his prison cell on Robben Island. The walls were cold, the conditions harsh, but he never wavered. Every day he woke with the same purpose that had driven him in that courtroom: to fight for justice. Letters arrived from around the world. Students, activists, leaders, all inspired by his words at the trial. "I am prepared to die," they quoted. Those words became a rallying cry. Movements sprang up in his name. Pressure mounted on the government to release him. Inside the prison, Mandela became a teacher, He held informal classes, teaching his fellow prisoners about law, history, and the principles of justice. Knowledge is power, he told them, and justice begins with understanding. One day, a young prisoner asked him, "Do you regret what you said at the trial? If you had been more careful with your words, you might have received a lighter sentence." Mandela smiled. "I do not regret speaking the truth. That trial was not just about my freedom. It was about defining what justice means. If I had remained silent, if I had compromised my principles to save myself, then what would I have been fighting for? Justice is not negotiable. It is absolute." Decades later, when Mandela was finally released, the world had changed. The words he spoke in that courtroom had spread across the globe. They had inspired a generation. They had proven that one person standing for justice could move the world. At his inauguration as president, Mandela returned to that theme. "Justice," he said, "is not given. It is demanded. It is fought for. It is won through sacrifice and courage. Today, we celebrate not just my freedom, but the freedom of all people to live in dignity and equality. This is the justice we fought for. This is the justice we have won." And in that moment, the dream he had spoken of in the courtroom, a democratic and free society, became reality. Justice, after all those years, had prevailed.